This is my budget street truck, Slippery. I daily drive this with no interior in it. Today we're going to talk about how terrible of an idea that really is. I'm Wheeler, welcome to my world. Alright, real quick, I want to go over how we got to this point, because the original plan for this truck definitely didn't look anything like this. Initially, I bought the truck because I already had a Chevy 350 motor out of a 95 Silverado, I think it was. Just kind of sitting around waiting to go into something. I found this on Marketplace for 800 bucks with a blown engine. Spoiler alert, it didn't have a blown engine. We'll go over that in another video. I also owned a 2001 Blazer at the time. Because everything's a project, of course, I wanted to solid axle swap that Blazer. I ended up collecting a set of Ford 1-ton axles and wheels and most of the stuff that a guy needs to actually get that solid axle swap going. Now, I was missing leaf springs. I still needed to find some leaf springs. After a bit of digging, I found that guy right there has kind of some of the best leaf springs that a guy can ask for when it comes to doing those solid axle swaps. So, since I planned on lowering this truck anyway, I figured, well, I'll just go ahead and lower that with drop leaves, and then take those stock leaf springs, use them for my solid axle swap in the Blazer. Of course, with the way life happens and everything else, I had to narrow it down to 2 vehicles. We had 3 or 4 at the time. By that time, I had already kind of fallen in love with this truck here, and I couldn't get rid of it. That's why I'm daily driving this truck. When I lowered it, that's when the weight reduction actually all started. So, I'm done making excuses. Let's actually talk about what I've done, what it did, and whether it was worth it or not. So, quick disclaimer before I take you guys under the hood of this thing. I'm an instructor at the local college here, and I have used this quite a few times as an instructional piece for my students. So a lot of the wiring and stuff in here has been done by students. Basically what that means is anything that looks shitty, I'm gonna blame on them. Anything that looks good, that was totally me. Let's go. So the first thing that almost everybody notices is obviously the lack of inner fender. When I did the drop on this, when I lowered it, I didn't have the proper size wheel and tires on there, so it scrubbed like hell. It was super dangerous to drive, and instead of getting the right size tires, I got rid of the inner fenders. Well, that holds up your battery, that also holds up your coolant surge tank. Over on this side, it holds up your washer fluid reservoir, all that fun stuff. Actually kind of supports your ABS module too, but we're not worried about that. That's going to get deleted later on too. Later video. All those things, if you ask me, are definitely more optional. Due to the authorities disagreeing with me, we're probably going to find something to fix that at some point. At least the surge tank and the washer fluid. We'll go find the battery in a minute. The intake is obviously cut. That cut down on weight a little bit, but that's not the reason we did that. This is a throttle body unit. It's not supposed to be an open intake. I just cut that up. We'll go over that in a later video as well. Yeah, I know that's wrong. Wasn't me. It works though, so you'll get over it. And I guess the only other thing under the hood here is my sweet electric fan setup. So these are out of a 9802, I want to say. Intrepid, Stratus, New Yorker, whatever. These guys work so good. Wired them in really crudely. I got to get that all figured out later. I don't know what that actually did for weight. Honestly, these guys don't weigh a whole lot less than what that mechanical fan weighed. So I don't even know if we're going to consider that in the weight reduction part of this. Now, we do have the AC pump gone. That's pretty dope. And obviously we've got no heater box in this thing. I did try to run an aftermarket heater. We'll go over that in a minute. It didn't work. I did find a solution though. So that's about all we got for under the hood here. Don't worry about that leaking. Don't worry about that. Just, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Let's go to the back. All right, coming around the back, we got the battery in the bed. We put this guy in with an Amazon shut-off switch. I think that's for a boat. And then a 150 amp maxi fuse, I think they call it. I don't remember what those fuses are called, but it's 150 amp and it works good. Then I ran my power wire down through a grommet. That goes up to my starter. The ground wire comes down and runs through a post underneath the tray there. Then I have a cable that runs down to my frame rail. We obviously didn't lose a lot of weight. In fact, we actually kind of gained a little bit of weight there, but this did relocate a lot of the weight to the back of the truck. So that's good. These things, they kind of need some weight back here. Especially after a guy goes and pulls the bumper off. Those things are heavy. Oh my Lanta. Again, I didn't weigh it. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. We're going to weigh the whole truck later, and it's going to be completely fine. You'll get over it. While we were back here, we got rid of the spare tire and the little reel guy for the spare tire as well. Charcoal canister is also gone. Don't worry about the legalities on that. The interior here is where I went a little bit stupid. So, we'll get there. Running the factory door panels here, obviously. I've taken the speakers and everything out. We had manual locks, manual crank windows right from the factory here. So there's not a lot a guy can do to make those lighter. There is some stuff that I can cut out of there and drop a little bit more weight, but I haven't got that crazy yet. These seats, I believe, are out of a 98 or newer. They're just S10 bucket seats. Nothing fancy about them. They're a little bit lighter, I suppose, because they don't have that bench part in there. This is a 95, so it came factory with the bench. And obviously a dollar store center console there. Jump seats are gone because they're kind of sketchy. I didn't like them as a kid. I don't like them as an adult. Carpet, that's gone because that shit's heavy. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. This dash here is just a sheet of aluminum. Nothing super fancy. I bent up a couple of mounts. There's a mount basically at each corner, and it's in there pretty solid. Like, it's definitely not going anywhere. So outside of that, I just notched the bottom for the steering column. All of the structure is still behind the dash. All of the factory wiring harness is still back there. I just don't have anything for the radio, no HVAC, the evaporator and condenser, or I'm sorry, evaporator and heater core, those are all gone. That's all stripped out underneath there. I do have plans to go through and rewire everything, so that's why I still haven't finished this out. I am going to go ahead and cut it out, build myself a gauge cluster, a proper gauge cluster. I'll build myself a proper switch panel, all of that fun stuff. We'll get there. Give me some time. The steering wheel here and the quick release, energy, cheap stuff, Amazon stuff. Realistically, the only reason that I have that in here, my students pulled the airbag out and we couldn't get it back in and it looked like hell, so I went with an aftermarket wheel. Since I was doing that, I figured I might as well put the quick release in. I did get the low profile adapter. I think all three of those parts were NRG. I know all three of those parts were off Amazon, and it did kick the wheel back towards me a solid 1.5 inches, 2 inches. I love the new position of the wheel. The wheel is 1 inch smaller than factory, and honestly, that was a solid upgrade for the price. Mr. Kitty even likes it too. The reason that I did this is because I didn't have working HVAC, I didn't have a good radio in it, and I was already kind of at the point, I was just kind of stripping shit to see how light I could make it anyway. And you wouldn't believe how heavy those dashes are. So I've mentioned a few times now that I've pulled the entire HVAC system out of the unit. That brings up the question, how do you get rid of the fog on the windshield? How does a guy deal with cold mornings, etc.? Easy. This guy right here, for a couple $100 on Amazon, Vevor will hook you up with one of these bad sallies. Now this thing does run on diesel. That sucks. But what it does have, it has defrost, floor, vent, passenger climate control, driver's climate control. And really, I mean, what more can you ask for? Does it take 15 minutes to warm up the truck no matter what temperature it is? Sure, yeah, it does. Is it easier to swap out than a heater core? Yeah, unfortunately it is. So I got one of these guys, and honestly, they're not much more expensive than a heater core. So it works fine. I just ran the exhaust right out the floor, and it exhausts out under the truck. So that's about all the modifications that I've done to the truck as far as weight reduction is concerned. Now we're going to run down to the scales on the highway, and we're going to see what this thing actually weighs. I know the S10 start out at like 3,800 pounds for the extended cab, automatic, 4.3 liter second gens, which is a lot. I didn't weigh the truck when I first started all of this, and I know that I probably should have, but unfortunately, we're here now. So if you've got a stock S10, by all means, go out, weigh that thing, and let me know what it come up as, because I am really curious. I want to make sure that I'm on point. Should be about 3,800 pounds out of the box. I'm hoping for considerably less than that. So I'm almost to the scales now. Just keep in mind that this is going to be in kilograms. I'll put what it is in pounds at the bottom. Not much I can do about that. I'm in Canada. It is what it is. $1,540. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So 1,540 kilograms is about 3,400 pounds, and that's with a full tank of fuel and about 170, 180 pound driver. So all in all, really not bad. If I was at the racetrack without the driver, I'd be looking at 3,200 pounds. I'm pretty happy with that. You know, that's 600 pounds off of factory weight, and honestly, you can feel it. Alright, so the good stuff about it. It does make the truck a lot lighter, tearing all this shit out of there. From a performance standpoint, it drives way better. You can definitely feel a difference in it. Fuel economy, not huge, but it's noticeable. You know, I'm getting 1 or 2 miles to the gallon better than I did for free. Really, it cost me nothing to strip all this stuff out of there. It's extremely easy to clean the interior out. Realistically, you can do 90% of your cleaning with a leaf blower. And what you can't do with the leaf blower, you grab the hose and just rinse it out. Leave the doors open to let it dry. It's good to go in 15 minutes. And you can hear your exhaust a lot better. Now, downsides. Unfortunately, it's got some pretty big downsides. This is where I have to be real with you. You can hear your exhaust a lot better. It is loud. The amount of road noise and noise from debris on dirty roads and like gravel roads, oh my god. Gravel roads are terrible to drive down. I do miss my radio. I'm not gonna lie. Trying to play music on my phone kind of sucks. Plus in the summertime, it is hot. You get all the heat coming off of the engine through the firewall that has no insulation on it. You get all the heat coming up off the road that goes right through the floor with no insulation. You got all the heat coming from the sun right through the roof with no insulation because my headliner's gone too. Wintertime, the exact opposite problem. Everywhere you go, it is cold as hell. You always got a nice draft coming through here. driving around in the wintertime, it becomes really obvious how much that insulation actually blocks. On the note of it being colder in the wintertime, with this heater that I'm using here too, it takes about 15 minutes for this thing to actually warm up and start doing something inside this cab. Now, once it does start warming up and start getting the cab a little bit more bearable, it gets it hot fast in here. So was it dumb or was it worth it? Honestly, both. I wanted to have something that was a little bit different, something fun to drive and doesn't break the bank. And honestly, the weight reduction made the biggest difference out of everything I've done to this truck so far. Stripping this thing out made it handle way differently. It makes it feel like a completely different truck. I personally think as humans we put creature comforts way too high on our priority list anyway, and I'm willing to give some of those up. Now, I think what I've got here is a fun little truck. It didn't break the bank, and it's a little bit different. Every mod that I've done to this has a purpose and honestly has made the truck better in some way or another. I don't live far away from work, so realistically, it's not that big of a pain for me to drive it around. Now, if I had to drive 50 miles to work every day, that would be a different story. I probably wouldn't do it at all, to be completely honest. But I don't have to, so I did, and I don't regret it. If you're trying to build something different on a limited budget, maybe a little too much confidence, hit that subscribe button. We got a lot more work to do to Slippery here, and I'm going to bring you guys along on the whole journey. I'm going to show you guys what works, I'm going to show you guys what didn't work, and I'm going to give you honest reviews the whole way. Next time we're going to be talking suspension, where I wasted my money, where you can save some money, and probably a good bit of stress. So, we'll see you next time, guys.